Hello, again, another video. Said I'd be a bit more consistent and I managed it this time. Still got the cold, still sucking a lozenge, really sorry. My throat's a bit croaky. I just can't help it. And if you see me sucking a sweet, I'm really sorry. It stops me hacking up and I don't think you want to watch 15 minutes of me choking. So, yeah. Anyway, today's video, how to find time to get your writing done, because you have time to get the writing done. You just like to tell yourself you don't, just like I like to tell myself I don't, and I like to waste my time and get to the end of the day and haven't written, and then why didn't I write? Well, I didn't have time, I was too busy. And then someone will say to me, what were you doing? And I'm like, no. So, how to not find time for your writing, make time for your writing, discover it, carve it, it is there. And I'm going to talk to you about getting it, because if you're here, you're a writer, right? And you want time to write. So I'm going to talk to you about how getting that time. First, sell your kids, yeah? And quit your job. I'm only kidding. No. Real things to do. And some of these are going to be a bit harsh. And yeah, I'm going to call you out. And I'm not sorry. Alright, because I'm calling myself out because I'm just as bad. So the first one, stop making excuses. How many excuses do you make not to write? I make loads, right? I have 2 overflowing wash baskets, 2 dogs, 5 cats, the house is a mess, there's kids all over the place, and I can't sell them, unfortunately, and I use them as an excuse not to get any writing done. And how much did I write today? Well, nothing, because I had to do this, and that. That's rubbish. Because I bet you, if like me, you look at your stats on your phone, you've browsed Facebook for at least an hour today, or TikTok, or watched a YouTube video like this one, but it doesn't mean turn it off, all right? Because I'm helping you. But I bet, like me, you've wasted your time. Because of these stupid little phone things that are amazing and that just hook us. So, first one I'm going to call you out on is prioritise your writing. And I don't mean prioritise it over everything, right? If you have children, you still have to feed them and dress them and bath them. If you have a job, you still have to go to work because you've got bills to pay. You've still got to feed yourself. You've still got to clean your house because you want to live. Who wants to live in an unsanitary house, right? But prioritise it over everything else. You've got to make your writing a priority and stop making excuses. Because if you want to be a writer, you will be a writer. And if you think you can't make it a priority, right, you're lying to yourself, actually. Because and I'm calling myself out on this, so don't just feel attacked, because this is me. I can tell you I've had no time to write all week, right? Not done any writing. My other half can do the same. My co-writer can do the same. We're like, I've no time to write. And then last week, the new Batman movie came out, and it's 3 hours long. And suddenly, we found 3 hours to go to the cinema and go watch it, right? Did you? Did you go to the cinema and watch something? Did you go and watch a Netflix show? Have you wasted time? Have you watched a whole series on YouTube? Have you binge watched something? Yeah? There is time to write. You're just not putting it first, and I'm not putting it first. Those 3 hours, Batman was fantastic, by the way. Robert Pattinson is amazing as Batman. Absolutely loved it. I didn't think he was going to beat Batfleck. And I say he might not have beaten Batfleck, but he's just as good. Film's amazing, but don't put that before you're writing. You can watch it as a reward. But yeah, so I had 3 hours where we went and watched Batman, and then I came back and said, I've got no time for writing. Well, I had 3 hours, and I went and watched a movie instead. You have to put your writing first. If it is important to you, make it important to you. But don't just make it important to you. Make it important to everyone else as well. Like, we live in a house that's super busy, right? There's so many of us in the house. And my children can so easily take up my time for unnecessary things. They're all grown up. The youngest is 22. She doesn't need me to do things for her, like get her clothes out and get her in the shower and stuff like that. She can do it herself. But I let her come in my office and chatter to me for an hour about nothing, about what she's watched, what she sold on Vinted. I don't ever say to her, do you know, love, I'm working. Would you mind if we're talking about this later? And I'm not teaching her that my writing is a priority. And, you know, the son will come around and he will show us his latest costume for cosplay, and I'll look at it, and then he and I will end up talking for an hour in the kitchen while having a coffee. And instead of me saying, I'm just gonna finish this writing, can you come back later? I'll stand and gas with him often and then not write. And I have to teach him too that this is my work time. My writing is my work. It's what brings the bills, pays the bills. It's what brings the money in. If I don't write, I don't pay the bills and I can't buy the food. So I have to do it and I have to prioritise it. And there's only so many days I can miss with excuses. So I have to train my family the same way as if I had an office job. You know, when I used to work in an office job, I used to work in the civil service. I worked there for like 10 years. And I would go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish at 3. And my children were young back then. And they were at school. And they would finish school before I get home from work. And a childminder would pick them up. And then I'd go and pick them up from there. And they knew I was at work. So they weren't on the phone saying, Mum, where's this? Mum, where's my shoes? Blah, blah, blah. No, I arranged for their needs to be cared for so I could do my work. And I have to do that again. Now, just because I'm at home doesn't mean that I can just push it aside, because I have to write, and that's what you have to. You have to prioritise it. You have to teach everybody in your life that your writing is a priority. So if you're going to your office, even if it's just for half an hour, you need to say to them, I'm going to the office for half an hour. Please only come and get me if it's an emergency. Obviously, you don't want them to ignore if the house is on fire, right? They need to get you for that. But if it's just that they can't remember the Netflix password, well, they can wait. It'll be fine. We'll read a book. Prioritise it. 1, you prioritise it. 2, train everybody around you to prioritise it as well. Another tip, and you might have extremely busy life. Like, we all have busy lives. You might have young children. You might have a full-time job. You might have 2 full-time jobs, young children, a parent you care for, anything. You know, everyone's lives are different and we've all got things going on. You might be caring for a sick relative. You might have some things that just get in your way. You can't not do them, right? But try something. Write for 10 minutes a day. That's it. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes when you get in bed, right? Get in bed, get your laptop, your notebook, set a timer for 10 minutes before you go, and just write. And do that every day. Most of the time, if I tell myself just to write for 10 minutes, I end up writing for a good hour, right? Most problems with writing and making the time to write is getting your backside in the chair and starting. Once you've started, it's not a problem. And that's like anything, right? So plan to write for just 10 minutes a day. Even if all you can manage is 10 minutes a day, it adds up. How many words can you write in 10 minutes? I can write 500 words, right? So if I wrote for 10 minutes a day for a week, that's 3,500 words. That's a chapter a week. If I wrote a chapter a week for a whole year, that's a book in a year written in 10 minutes a day. Yeah? Just write a little bit every day. Another tip. Cut out some of the unnecessary things like Netflix, Facebook browsing, YouTube watching. We don't watch a lot of Netflix in our house because the kids hog the TV. But if in the evening you're sitting down to binge watch, I don't even know what the latest shows are at the moment. If you're sitting down to binge watch 2 or 3 episodes, watch 1 episode less and write instead, but do the writing first, right? So let's go with The Witcher. First thing that comes to my head. So say you're watching The Witcher and you're going to watch 3 episodes tonight. Watch 2. Do your writing for the first 40 minutes. Do not do the writing afterwards. And then reward yourself with 2 episodes of The Witcher and go to bed. You've written for 40 minutes. Fantastic. So another tip is say no to unnecessary things. And I think this goes to the prioritising bit. And we all get invites to dinner, to movies, to whatever. Don't be afraid to say no to them or postpone them, especially if you've got a book deadline. If you've got one like we do, if you've got to get 20,000 words written this week and your mate invites you out for dinner on Tuesday night, instead of going, say, could we do it next week? Because I'm just working this week. And sometimes it's just that bad. I'm not saying have no social life and become a hermit, because that's not for anyone's mental health. But if you're going out once or twice a week, cut something down. Give that time to your writing. It deserves it, and so do you. Because, you want to finish that book, don't you? Yes, say yes. Another one for me, and this was a big game changer. It goes with my planning thing. Time block, right? So we all have things we have to do in the day, and we all have some things that are a given we have to do every day, no matter what. We all have to get up. I'll give you a rough list. I have to shower. I have to feed the animals. I have to do the dishwasher. I have to do the washing machine at some point in the day. I have to get the clothes dry. I have to fold the clothes and put them away. If I'm in a really productive day, I might manage that all in one day. I have to vacuum. I've got 2 dogs. The floor gets a mess. It's got to be done. I've got to cook dinner. I've got to do some shopping. There are these things that I have to do every day, but I've done them so often that I know how long they take me. And I know how much of a day I have spare. So get a sheet of paper and write what time do you get up. Like, we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So write the getting up time. And then break the day down. My apologies if the angle's changed a little bit. We had a slight memory card problem. Work your day out. What do you do in the day that you do every day, right? You can work out your times. Write the day from the moment you get up to the moment you go to sleep and break it down in half hours, and then fill in the things that you have to do. So you have to make dinner, right? You might have a day job. You have to go to your day job. So this takes up all this time. So write that into this thing. You'll be surprised that there is time left for you to do your writing. And you might have 3 or 4 hours. I'm not saying to do 3 or 4 hours, because if you've got a hectic day, that could be a lot. But schedule some of that time for yourself. It's there, I promise. Even if, and it's going back to the word, even if you can only find a 10-minute slot, find it, make it, and then stick to it. And this leads into another tip of schedule. So if you can time block your day and find that time where you have time, schedule it in. Make a date with yourself. Treat it the way you would treat any other appointment. Schedule that time in and do not cancel it unless obviously there's an absolute emergency. But make that date with yourself. Schedule it into that time block. Another one is put your phone away. I'm a nightmare. I can't have the phone in the same room as me when I'm writing, because I'll go in, I'll write, and I'll be on Facebook or TikTok, and I'll waste my time, and I might have 2 hours writing, and I'll come out of the office having written nothing because my phone pinged and then I got distracted. Put your phone away. Put it in another room. Studies have shown time and time again, if we have the phone, even if we're not using it, and it's right next to us, it's going to distract us. Put it in another room. I give mine to my other half. If it rings, he can answer it. If there's an emergency message on it that I've got to deal with, he can come to me with it and tell me, and I'll deal with it. But otherwise, it's gone. It's out of my head, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. And I'll get it back in a couple of hours. Now, it's hard because you're constantly like, I need to go get my phone. You'll get used to it. Put your phone away. However, on the other side of that, write on your phone. So I recently removed all the Facebook and TikTok apps. They're still on my phone, but I hid them. And instead of them being where they are, I have put the Notes app on my phone, so that when I go on my phone for the millionth time in a day and go to scroll where my app would be, I come across the Notes app. And I'm like, right, I've got 10 minutes, I could quickly write. But you can also download like the Google Docs. And I can't remember who I got this tip from. I was listening to a podcast. I'll find it for you and I'll link it. And he's got actually an authortube. I think it's called Author Level Up. And he writes on his phone. And you can dictate into your phone, and they're really good at recognizing things. And it doesn't have to be writing in your work in progress right now. It could literally just be brainstorming. You could pencil out the next chapter. You know, writing isn't always writing the actual chapters. Writing is brainstorming, it's planning, it's, you know, lots of little things go into it. So you could be writing on your phone. You could read over your last chapter and see if it needs anything. You know, there's always ways. Write around work if you have a day job, or write around your stuff. So this tip actually comes from my co-author. So when he was working in his corporate office job, he used to use his lunch times to write. So that was half an hour every day. And he would eat his lunch as he worked. Probably not the best thing to do for your mental health, but that's what he used to do, and that was how he used to get his books written. He'd also write on the way home, which, as long as you're not driving, if you're commuting, you're on a bus, you're on a train, I think it's Chris Fox. I'll link his channel below as well. He talks about how he used to write on his commute to and from work every day, and dug his way out of some corporate job as well, because he wrote when he could in every spare minute around his day job. And those minutes are there, you just have to find them. So yeah, so write around things, write on your lunch break, write on your commute, write while you're waiting for the bathroom. Two of the popular tips you probably heard other people say are, one, get up earlier. Now we do this, we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because there are children in our house and they are noisy, and it's very hard to write when they're around, they're running in and out and they want your attention. So we get up before them, and it usually gets us about an hour and a half, if we creep downstairs quiet enough, of writing time. And that hour and a half is invaluable. I can probably get 2,000 or 3,000 words written in that time, because I can just write a little bit faster. My other half can get his creative stuff done. So get up early. And it doesn't have to be an hour and a half earlier. I'm not telling you to get up so that you're absolutely shattered through the day. Get up half an hour earlier. Don't even get out of bed. Just have your laptop next to your bed. Wake up, get a glass of water, write for half an hour in bed, and then get up and get on with your day. You've done some writing. Brilliant. Or go to bed half an hour later. One of the big ones, and it's probably such a amazing, create a writing habit. So if you are fortunate enough that you can write pretty much at the same time every day, make it a habit. Don't let other things get in the way. Like, we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, that's our writing habit. We get downstairs to the computer, that's the writing habit. We get a coffee, the Spotify goes on very quietly, that's a writing habit. And then we sit and write. 6:30, you know, you can hear the footsteps upstairs, it's like our alarm. End of writing, but it's a writing habit. And so when you do this long enough, and you go and sit down at your computer for that writing time, or your laptop, or your notebook, or whatever you do, wherever you write, your brain's going to start clicking into that creative mode. If you do the same thing every day, but when we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get a coffee, go and sit down, the brain's like, oh, it's writing time, yay! And then you're on it. And the more you do it, the more the habit forms. And eventually it's just a thing you do. I mean, how many things do you do that are habit now? Like, I get up and the first thing I do is go to the bathroom and make coffee. Obviously not a coffee in the bathroom, go to the bathroom and then go and make coffee. They are habits that I have formed over years of doing them. If I don't go and make a coffee, I start feeling it, yeah? Because it's been my habit for ages. So you need to do that with your writing. You make it a habit and you will get angsty eventually if you don't do it. Just ask my co-author what he's like when he's not writing. Anyway, I know those tips are totally random and no structure, but I hope they've helped you. And, you know, at least a couple of them will help you to be able to make writing time. That's not finding writing time, we are making writing time, because you want to write, because you want to finish your book, and it is a priority. Yes, not with me. Okay? If you have any other tips, anything that you do that I've missed off, put them down in the comments below, because it might help someone. It might help me, because I'm just like you with life and have to fit writing around everything else. Or if there's any tip that I put that you really like, put a comment down and let me know. I love chatting to you guys. So, you know, I'll hang around in the comments with you. Yeah. Anyway, so that's me for today. I shall see you later. See you in the next video. Hope you're enjoying these. If you did like it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, please. And hit that subscribe button so I shall show up when you're scrolling YouTube, when you're not supposed to be, because you're supposed to be writing, right? Also, smash that notification bell so that you'll get notified when I've posted a new video, which you will watch after you've done your writing. And you get the idea? Writing is your priority. Alright, I'll see you later.